When possible, all children should be raised vegan. Let's discuss.
Those vegan guys. I thank you.
Hi and welcome to the channel. I'm Paul from Those Vegan Guys. Today, unfortunately, minus my husband Jason, who's back at work after 11 fabulous days off, as our recent uploads list can clearly attest. So this particular issue, I wanted to just do a very short vlog because I recently made a post on Facebook. On my own profile, and then on our Those Vegan Guys page, and then in our group, that vegan group, linked below in the description. I'll read you the post as I wrote it because I think that's only fair, but then I'll give you some context about it, why it came about. Okay, I wrote, personally, I think all children should be raised vegan. I think once they are old enough to make their own choices, they should be able to. But if you raise a child vegan and they then choose to eat meat with the knowledge of how it gets to the plate, then that's on them, their choice. No harm was done to them being raised vegan. However, if you raise a child as a meat eater and they then choose to be vegan once they know the facts, they can never change the fact that they have eaten meat. As an opposite scenario doesn't exist. Therefore, children should be raised vegan. Prove me wrong. Now, I'd like to explain why I wrote that post and how the thought process started, because that's important as well. This is not just something I was like, but and it's still not. That's my belief and that's the way it is. The thought came because I'd seen somebody post in one of the vegan groups on Facebook that her partner had said when they have children, he didn't want them raised vegan. And she basically said, that's a game changer for me. I suppose that's it, we're over. And then this guy had posted this comment. And I read his comment. And then I copied it and said, the exact same statements can be used for meat eating. He basically said, I think it's wrong to force your child to be vegan. You should let them get to an age where they can choose what they want to be, and if they choose vegan, great. But it's wrong to force it on them, and hence I think it's wrong to raise your child as a meat eater because you're forcing it on them when they get old enough. And so I copied his post and changed that one word, and that's what led to that post, because when I thought about it, that's very true, isn't it? You can't get away from that fact. If you've raised your child as a meat eater, then they choose to be vegan, they can never undo the fact that they've eaten meat. If you raise your child as a vegan and then they choose to be a meat eater, no harm was done to them being raised vegan. No harm. The British Dietetic Association has said conclusively, well-planned vegan diets are suitable for humans of all ages, for people of all ages. I'll link the article from the BDA down there. I'll put it in the description, and maybe I'll link it in the first comment as well. Now, of course, then people come along and start, well, what if this, what if that? Firstly, let me strongly say, this isn't a read on people who are already raising children and haven't chosen, it's not a read on you at all. I'm saying it's a thought. You know, like years ago there was a thought that perhaps we shouldn't be eating or abusing or using animals in any way, if there's any possible way around it, and so veganism was born. This is like that. This is just it's a thought. It's just is it wrong to raise children as meat eaters when we are trying to save the world, and animal agriculture is a huge part of the destruction of it? Because, you know, a lot of people, there's all these excuses with veganism, like, what about all the small animals that are killed for crops? And that's awful. But most of the crops grown on Earth are grown for animal agriculture. So I think it's almost 90% of the soy grown on Earth is fed to cattle to fatten them up for meat eaters. So if you're that concerned about crops and small animals, honey, vegan, hello? And I know that some people prefer the term plant-based, so let's go with that then. So some people say about things like autism and sensory issues. So and of course this is a generally speaking, all children should be raised vegan. Let's discuss. Although I personally know someone with autism who I used to work with, who became vegan and is mortified that they weren't before. Has an ultra, all of us vegans carry a guilt complex that we weren't vegan sooner. This guy, it's tenfold. So what about that? What about that? And I know that there are ifs and buts and whats and ands, and I'm not saying if you're not doing it right now you're evil. I'm saying this is a thought we all should be having. Is it better to raise children vegan so that if they choose to remain vegan, they have never knowingly participated in the use or abuse of an animal for consumption? I just think it's a really interesting, and I know it's a contentious issue, trust me, I know that, but I think it's a really interesting issue. Certainly I don't guilt trip my mother. I'm 51 years old. I don't guilt trip my mother. She didn't even know vegetarian wasn't even a thing when she was the last raising us. But I made my own choices as an adult once I knew the facts. I wish that those facts had been shared with me sooner. I mean, I really do. Because the pretty images of animals in fields eating grass, enjoying their life, and then happily walking down the slaughter line to have their throat cut willingly, they want to, they've had a good life, is ludicrous. So should all children be raised vegan? Should that be something that we as a planet, with the issues of climate change and the horrors of the animal agriculture industry and the horrors of fishing, shouldn't we be looking towards better for veganism, easier for veganism, more mainstream for veganism? Not because it's like, it's not a you should be vegan, it's you shouldn't be. As far as possible, you shouldn't be contributing to animal abuse, climate change, the destruction of the planet. It's more, you shouldn't be doing these things, and one of the answers is veganism. because I know people feel preached at sometimes, and it's I know that can be difficult. I felt preached at when I was a vegetarian, and even though my friend was so gentle with me, trying to explain to me the horrors of the egg industry by asking me to look into it, and I was like, oh, shut up, it says happy eggs on the box. 7 and a bit years ago, how wrong I was as soon as I was willing to look into it. And here I am now, as a vegan, asking questions like this. Should all children be raised vegan? Should manufacturers be working on textures and things of food? I mean, we're very lucky these days, actually. If you're allergic to soy, there are pea-based proteins. If you're allergic to soy and pea, there are wheat-based proteins. And there are so many fruits and vegetables and beans and legumes and so many wonderful things that can be made into other things. Did you know you can make a cheese sauce out of potato and carrot and a thing called nutritional yeast? There are so even if someone is hypersensitive to textures and things, well, surely we can fix that as vegans. We can, just like we've made it so that there are sausages and burgers and bacon and, you know, all of these things, and there are slightly more expensive versions, and there are always affordable versions. Always. It is no more expensive to be vegan these days. No more expensive. Check out our budget week vlog. Anyway, let's discuss. Let's be polite, everybody, please, and never stoop to personal attacks or unnecessary anger. Let's talk about this. If I had a child now, I would certainly raise my child vegan, and when they were old enough, I would tell them quite young about what happens in the animal agriculture industry. I think it's important that children are aware of the world they live in and what happens here, what is seen as normal, so that they can choose whether that's normal to them or not. You know, there's a reason that most parents will happily take their children to pick strawberries or apples, but won't take them to a slaughterhouse. They're both showing the source of food on the plate. Should all children be raised vegan? Let me know below. Hope you've enjoyed this. Sorry I needed to get it out into a vlog. I hope I've explained it. I'm sure when I'm uploading this, I'll think, oh, should have said this, should have said that. This is not a read. This is not accusatory. This is not shouty at anybody. This is, should all children be raised vegan where possible, do you think? Let me know. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again very soon. Until then, please be excellent to yourselves and each other. Bye, loves, and not one bleeding sip of me coffee. Finished it.